What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be discussing Roddy Ricch's album Live Life Fast. I briefly touched upon my thoughts about this project in the last video where I ranked the 2021 albums that released this year, but I want to dive into this, look at the sales, kind of compare this to his last project, and also give some official thoughts about the project. But with all this being said, let's just dive on into this. Alright, so I want to start off by mentioning that Live Life Fast debuted at number 4 and it sold 64,000 units first week. Now, this isn't terrible, especially without merch bundles. This is honestly what I see other artists like Trippy and stuff sell. Obviously, we saw this with like Trip at Night, Pegasus, but the difference here is that Roddy pulls big numbers. He gets a lot of clout from TikTok. He also pulls a lot of numbers on just features or anything. We saw For the Gain do well. We saw huge hits like The Box, Rockstar, and even more recently, a track that's featured on this album, Late at Night. And I actually dove in to kind of look at what Late at Night did, because I know Late at Night wasn't as big of a single as The Box was, but Late at Night went number 1 on Billboard's rhythmic airplay chart. And from what I can find, it looks like it peaked at number 20 on the US Billboard Hot 100. So obviously this track was nowhere as big as The Box, and you have to keep in mind that the project that The Box was released on, please excuse me for being antisocial, released in late 2019 when merch bundles were still counted. So if you dive in and look a little bit closer into the sales of his last project that released in 2019, that sold 101,000 units first week, but that does include merch bundles, and obviously this had The Box on it, High Fashion, a lot of widely successful songs, where this new project, Live Life Fast, only had one single released up until its drop date. Now, diving into was this album a flop or not, I would kind of have to say yes, but I really do like Roddy, and I don't want to say that. That's no hate towards him at all, but coming off of the success and the height he was at, and then him releasing a project that a lot of people, not saying myself, but a lot of people are considering mid, that just doesn't look too good. And obviously I don't know what I was expecting for sales wise. I think that this isn't terrible, but like I said, this is stuff like that Trippy sells, and no hate against Trippy or anything like that at all, but Trippy doesn't get radio play and his songs don't chart this well usually. Stuff like Mr. Rage didn't do anywhere near the numbers that this did, at least not looking at it from a mainstream point of view. So I think it is considered a flop because Roddy's a more mainstream rapper, and when his numbers are kind of matching someone like Trippy or even just other artists that don't get a lot of the same perks that Roddy gets, I think you could consider this a flop. Diving into what I actually think about the project, I do enjoy a few songs off of here. I think Man Made is a great track. Roller Coaster I like. There's a few on here that I am a fan of, but overall this definitely wasn't what I was expecting. Now, is that bad? No. Has the project grown on me? A little bit. A couple of the tracks that I didn't like before, I've been going back and listening to. I'm trying to give this album a fair amount of listens before I actually give an opinion, and that's why I waited so long to do this video, is because I wanted time to sit on the album and not rush out a review or my thoughts on it. That's why I just gave very brief thoughts about it in that tier list video, but I would still consider the project to be good. I don't consider it bad, and I also don't necessarily consider it mid, even though I do think I called it mid before. It just is something that kind of has to grow on you, but that's kind of how Roddy was for me when I found him. He wasn't someone that I could just listen to one time and I automatically thought he was fire. Obviously, he has those few hits like The Box, Project Dreams, or even Every Season, that the first listen I had to those, I was a huge fan of them. But there's other stuff that he has out that it took me a few listens to have to start to like. Stuff like I Might off of the original Feed the Streets. But with all this being said, I do want to mention that Roddy is going to be releasing a Feed the Streets 3, which is honestly what I would have rather seen released this year. But he confirmed that this project is releasing in 2022. So I'm hoping that by that point, Live Life Fast will have grown on all the listeners of this album, and that hopefully Feed the Streets 3 will be Roddy's redemption, and that he can be back on his upward climb, because I want to see Roddy be one of the biggest artists that we have right now. He's definitely one of my favorites, but let me know what you guys think about the album. Do you think he flopped? Do you think the album's mid? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys are new here, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. With all this being said, guys, thank you for watching.